New guidelines have been released by the National Institute of Health and Care Excellence in order to improve the standard of care for people with celiac disease. But many clinical commissioning groups throughout the region have refused to reverse their decision to blanket ban gluten-free prescriptions. Our reporter Rhea Barton met up with a celiac sufferer in the Solent to find out more about the disease and the care she receives.
Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease where the body's immune system reacts when gluten is eaten, causing damage to the lining of the small intestine. It affects 1 in 100 people, but nationally the average time to receive a diagnosis is a staggering 13.5 years. I met with Kirsty, who has been diagnosed with celiac disease for 10 years.
I had stomach symptoms and anemia and mouth ulcers and that sort of thing. They put me down as having irritable bowel syndrome for quite a long time. But then I happened to see a locum doctor in the doctor's surgery once, and they just said they were going to test something called a TTG, which is a tissue transglutamase enzyme, and it comes up as more than 5 if there's damage in your gut lining. So they tested that and it came up as positive. And then I was referred to a gastroenterologist at the hospital, and I had an endoscope and a biopsy to confirm the damage in my lining.
So say you accidentally ate some gluten, what happens to you? How ill do you get?
I get very ill. I get like stomach symptoms like nausea, vomiting, mouth ulcers, anemia. It can take a few weeks again for your villi to recover.
Kirsty told me how much living with this disease has affected her life.
Just a crumb can make me ill. So like at home, because my family aren't celiacs but I am, I have to make sure there's no cross-contamination in the kitchen. So I have my own toaster and I have my own separate butter. And I have to make sure that everything I use is clean, and like making sure that the worktop that I've got has got no crumbs on or anything. It has affected my life a lot. Like you have to be really careful, so you don't get ill. But you also, like, I've been diagnosed 10 years, so you do get used to it a little bit. And like the things in the supermarkets have, like, from when I was diagnosed 10 years ago to now, there's a lot more range available.
Despite there being no cure for celiac disease, with the only treatment being a strict gluten-free diet, many clinical commissioning groups throughout the country have either totally banned or restricted the prescription of gluten-free foods. And with a loaf of gluten-free bread costing £3, this has undoubtedly had a massive effect on celiac sufferers.
For us, food is our medicine, you would have a drug prescribed in the same way for other diseases as our gluten-free food is.
Currently, the Solent region has not seen as many cuts to gluten-free prescription as in other parts of the country. For Kirsty, her local commissioning group, NHS West Hampshire, have reduced prescribing to 7 to 13 units, depending on age and gender, whilst other CCGs in our region, such as Portsmouth and Fareham and Gosport, still adhere to the national guidelines for prescribing gluten-free food. West Hampshire CCG provided me with this statement. West Hampshire Clinical Commissioning Group has amended its policy and guidance on the appropriate prescribing of gluten-free products on NHS prescription. This decision has been taken in light of national developments and in consultation with GPs. The CCG does not support the prescribing of items such as biscuits, crackers, crisp breads, rolls, breakfast cereals and pizza bases. Biscuits are not considered part of an everyday healthy diet, whilst others are increasingly available from supermarkets and online retailers. This is Rhea Barton for That's Solent.